Let's go back to the museum. The museum we go to. No, is this the annoying bit I hated coming up?
You have left it very late, monsieur.
Late for what?
Anything? I am closing the museum soon. You wouldn't like to get locked in. I can tell you. Not in this gallery.
Why not?
It is haunted, monsieur.
You don't believe in ghosts, surely.
Oh, yes, I do. 7 years ago, a lad managed to hide in here.
So?
He made a bet with his friends, I suppose.
And?
When I found him in the morning, he was cold as ice and stiff as a board.
Yeah,
Well,
and?
what was the cause of death?
They said it was a brain tumor. But on his face was a look of stark, desperate terror such as I have never seen before.
Wait, he was locked in a
Scary.
museum. Of course he would have been like that. Okay. I don't want to talk to you.
Forget it.
I see the guy there.
I beg your pardon. Are you Andre Lobineau?
That's me. You want my autograph?
No, I don't.
No, I was told you may be able to help me.
Help?
My name is George Stobart. I'd like your professional opinion.
Well, okay. Shoot.
Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
Why, yes. It was a radical Muslim sect whose name became synonymous with murder.
Wow.
It was formed in 11th century Persia, shortly before the Crusades.
At roughly the same time as the Templars.
Yes, they gave a new word to our language. Assassini, the assassin.
Damn. Okay, let's finish talking.
How did the assassins get their name?
From the legends surrounding the secrets of their initiation rites. A young man who sought to join the sect was given hashish until he drifted into dreams. He awoke to find himself in a fabulous garden with everything he could wish for. The freshest water, the most delicious food, the choicest hash, and the most delectable women imaginable.
Cool. Do you have the address?
I haven't finished the story. There was a price to pay for this taste of paradise.
Wouldn't you just know it?
The young man would wake the next day to find himself back in the real world. He was told that he'd been given a glimpse of the heaven reserved for holy martyrs. A heaven he would enjoy for eternity if he was willing to join the Hashashin.
Oh, really? This is interesting to talk about.
How did the assassins operate?
Well, as I explained, the new recruits would be only too willing to die for the cause. They'd be instructed in the use of the dagger, poisons, and disguise. Then, the Grand Master of the sect would name an enemy of Allah.
And they'd stop at nothing to eliminate that enemy.
You got it. They were fearless and deadly.
Does the cult of the assassins still exist?
Take a look around at the world today. You tell me.
Yes, I believe they do.
Does the name Montfaucon mean anything to you?
Sure, it
Oh,
was
I've
the
been
most
invited
grisly
to chat.
spectacle
Oh,
in Paris
great.
until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A dark temple of death, with row upon row of arches, each one framing a grim exhibit.
Oh, what?
Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking rope, while the crows devoured their flesh.
Oh, that sounds
That
disgusting.
explains the image of the hanged man. I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn.
Lochmarn, that's where Pegram was digging.
That's right. He'd left the excavation before I arrived.
Oh, this may get interesting.
Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
The second week of July?
Maybe. Yes, it was, just before Bastille Day.
So Pegram was in Paris at the same time as the other victims.
Pardon? Victims of what?
Nothing. Just thinking aloud.
Wait, what? Oh, this is getting interesting.
Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin, but there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
Whoa, what?
I think you ought to know that the tripod is going to be stolen.
The Lochman tripod? No.
It's true. I can give you a description of the thieves.
Before the supposed event has taken place?
I heard them planning the raid.
They're wasting their time. The tripod is protected by a state-of-the-art alarm system.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you. I'd like your opinion on a medieval manuscript.
Vraiment? Do you have it with you?
No, it's too fragile. And besides, there are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing. Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much, only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
It sure is.
Just tell me one thing. What does the image of two men riding on the same horse suggest to you?
The Knights Templar. Does the Templar seal appear on this manuscript?
Yes.
I'd love to see that for myself.
Yeah, it does.
Can you tell me anything about the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Georgie.
Look,
Soldiers,
Georgie.
diplomats, mercenaries, monks, bankers, you name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Jeez.
You're telling me.
How did the Templars get their name?
From the building in which they set up their
That's
headquarters.
straight from the
The
screen.
King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original
that's away from
Temple
the
of
screen.
Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple and later as the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, Andre.
Glad
Yeah,
to
she
be
is.
of help, Georgie.
Don't call me Georgie.
How
Jesus.
come the Templars became so wealthy?
There was a constant stream of new recruits to their ranks, many from noble families.
Yeah.
They were required to swear a sacred oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So, their money, goods, and lands were donated to the order. The Templars soon held land in France, Scotland, England, Spain, most of Europe, in fact. The poor Knights of Christ became the wealthiest power in Christendom.
Damn, I'm tired. And it's only 4:50.
Is it true the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found?
Who knows? So little knowledge of what really happened remains. Oh, if it does,
Let's sort
the
this
truth
guy out.
has never been made public.
What do you mean by that?
The Templars have attained mythological status, like the King Arthur of the Britons. There are people even now who say the Templars still exist.
Do you think that's likely?
No, not for a minute.
Okay, next option.
The manuscript is being looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah, not far from here, in fact.
Well, just give me the address and I'll come round and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that.
That sounds wrong.
Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman. Maybe it was my imagination, but I noticed
Whoa.
a predatory look in his eye. Suddenly, this friendly historian had turned into the big bad wolf.
I don't like the way you said that.
This friend, who has the manuscript,
Oui, the anonymous girlfriend.
she lives at 361 Rue Jarry.
Ah, I know it well. I'll drop by. Just as soon as I can.
There you go. We got that out of the way.
Why don't you loan the tripod to me for safekeeping?
George.
Because I'd never see it again.
Well, don't you trust me?
It's not a question of trust, George. That tripod is hundreds of years old and extremely fragile.
I get your point. Thanks for your help, Andre.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Well, okay, this next part is a pain for me remembering it on the DS. So let's do a quick save.